Hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of the EKN Debrief, episode number 169. It is Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. Today, myself, Rob Howard, alongside David Cole, diving into the final bit of coverage of this year's Superkarts USA Pro Tour Summer Nationals, the event that happened last weekend at Newcastle Motorsports Park, capping off the Pro Tour for 2026. Let's get into it here. But first, let's introduce the presenting sponsor of today's show, Comet Kart Sales. History, success, family. These are the three words that describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation is located just outside Indianapolis and has provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers in their near 6 decades of business. Their brand new, updated online store features everything you need, and they are continually adding new parts to their product line. Make sure you head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be part of the Comet Kart Sales family today. All right, David Cole, you were able to get home on late Monday. I ended up getting delayed, canceled flight on Monday night, had to fly home Tuesday morning, but we're both back in the office, and let's wrap up the coverage of this year's Pro Tour Summer Nationals.
Yeah, a day late on getting this recorded. We'll try and get it up here today. So a quick turnaround, so that way it's up on the EKN Radio Network today, and then we'll be recording another podcast here later today as well. So a busy day in the office of recording.
Yeah, you got 3 weekends in a row, right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we'll be. I'll be heading back to Newcastle on Thursday afternoon to cover the RMC Trophy Final with 130 entries right now. Looking at the entry list right now, so that'll be good to talk about here later this afternoon, and then. Back home for a couple of days before heading out to Cincinnati for the third stop of the USPKS program. So it's this is summertime. It's the end of the year kind of feeling.
Yeah. Midsummer, but the end of all the end of some major races, end of the Pro Tour, you name it. So. Indeed, folks, the Pro Tour Summer Nationals went in the books July 24th to the 26th down at Newcastle Motorsports Park in Newcastle, Indiana, or Spiceland, whatever you want to say. Rounds 5 and 6 of the 6-round championship for all the categories but Pro Shifter. They ran, of course, just a single main event each weekend, so round 3 for Pro Shifter. I talked a lot about it over the broadcast. The 17th season of the championship, so much stability with Superkarts USA, 17 years of that program that started back in 2010. David, all told, a pretty comfortable weekend for weather. Xander on the Kart Chaser broadcast talked a lot about the fact that this was not a traditional Summer Nationals. We didn't have the high 80s, high humidity, sweltering heat. A little bit of rain here and there, but a comfortable weekend, to be honest.
A rarity at Newcastle Motorsports Park, unless it's April or May when temperatures can be cooler. Because summer hasn't began, but typically every summer event that you go to at Newcastle Motorsports Park is going to be hot and humid. And this was everything but. I mean, we did have sunshine throughout the weekend, so you did get a little sunburnt if you were out in the sun all day. But a rare weekend where it felt nice to be outside, not too sweltering hot. It was a little bit warmer there at the end of Sunday. But that's when the heat started moving into the region, because Monday was just absolute triple digits is what it felt like on the golf course there at Brickyard Crossings. But strange little again, rain hits Newcastle. It never always does. And a dash of sprinkles on Saturday as the KA Masters began their main event. And then towards the end of qualifying, I didn't really notice it, and I don't think you guys did either until you guys started getting some reports of it.
Yeah, it's misting.
But light misting again. And when we woke up too, Rob, it was like it was a fog and a mist and kind of a combination of both. So I guess it never really went away and kind of affected some of the qualifying sessions there on Sunday.
The Pro X30, right? The Pro X30 guys talked about
that was the biggest. That was the biggest factor. That category had the uniqueness of the weather.
Yeah. We'll dive into the by the numbers as we'll cap off this first segment here on this edition of the Debrief. All told, they did get a significant amount of walk-ups, guys that had not yet entered. So honestly, essentially we had exactly the same entry number as the Spring Nationals. 214 entries came in for the Summer Nationals here to cap off this year's Pro Tour. All but two categories, though, a slight dip. Micro Swift from 26 of the Spring Nats down to 25. Mini from 24 to 21. Again, like just a kind of a one or two drop in K and X30 Junior, 27 to 25, two drop in KA Junior, 36 to 34, one drop in Masters, 7 to 6, four drop in KA Senior. That was the big one. We'll come back and talk about that, Dave. 35 down to 31. There was 47 KA Seniors at the Winter Nationals in Tucson. The two that went up were the two pro categories, plus 10 in Pro X30, 25 at MCC, 35 Pro X30s for the finale at Newcastle, and Pro Shifter up from 34 to 37. Not the numbers they had out west at Tucson, but still 37 Pro Shifters. They have a great field there. The Pro categories, the ones that had extra, went up from Spring Nats, everything else down, but only down by a little.
Yeah, only down by a little. So overall, you kind of look at the average. Yeah. You're getting, if you eliminate KA Master from the count, you're looking at, almost 30, probably like a 28 average across the board. So per category. So that's what you want to see at the pro level. Not exactly the numbers, that we've had before. So I think I actually by the numbers are wrong, because I think those were the Spring Nats numbers that we had there. So I didn't update those, but with all the previous years, because I think last year we had 300 entries at the Summer Nationals. So we did see a big drop in terms of last year to this year. But again, year by year, Rob, the ebbs and flows of our sport. And so 259, 214, and 214, that's just kind of where we're at right now with the Pro Tour in terms of numbers.
Yeah, I agree. There you have it, folks. Let's get things underway with the by the numbers, as we're underway with episode 169 of the EKN Debrief, capping off our EKN trackside coverage for this past weekend Superkarts USA Pro Tour Summer Nationals. When we get back, we'll dive in to the Paddock Insider. Winning takes top quality equipment, flawless preparation, experienced coaching, and passion. And at Team GFC, we live our passion. Developed by American karting champion Gary Carlton, the GFC chassis has become one of the newest brands to reach the top of the podium in North America. GFC has garnered victories and championships at all levels of the sport since its debut at the end of 2018. Shifter car drivers are at the front of the field in the GT14 frame, with the SS31 a consistent contender in tag and 100cc competition. Team GFC has arrive and drive packages available for all categories, including the mini and micro classes utilizing the GFC RR5 cadet chassis. These young pilots have the opportunity to be part of the Team GFC Young Driver Development Program. Learn from one of the best American karters with 28 years racing at the highest levels of the sport, offering personalized training on and off the track. Follow GFC Karting on Facebook and Instagram, or click over to gfckarting.com to learn more about joining Team GFC. GFC, live your passion.
Welcome to AIM Sports and the groundbreaking Micron 6 karting data logger. Since its inception, AIM Sports has been at the forefront of motorsport technology, revolutionizing how racers gather data. From its early days, AIM has tailored its innovations to provide precise insights, allowing racers to fine-tune their strategies and push their limits. Fast forward to today, and we're excited to celebrate 30 years of Micron by introducing the latest evolution in karting data loggers, the Micron 6. Designed with cutting-edge features, including 25Hz GPS with mil-spec precision, a 6-axis inertial platform, shift lights and alarms, temperature inputs, and a host of wired and wireless expansions. With 2 CAN buses, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi, it's perfect for karting enthusiasts looking to enhance their game on the track. With its advanced suite of sensors, high-speed data acquisition, and easy-to-use interface, the Micron 6 delivers unparalleled performance on track. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, this powerful tool helps you analyze every turn, every lap, even every heartbeat. Imagine a tool that not only records your lap times, but also analyzes parameters like speed, tire temperature, driver inputs, and engine performance. With the Micron 6, you'll gain insights that can shave seconds off your times and elevate your skills behind the wheel. Don't just drive, be data-driven. Join the AIM Sports community today and equip yourself with the Micron 6 to take your karting experience to the next level. Visit aimsports.com to learn more. AIM Sports, 30 years of Micron.
Welcome back to the EKN Debrief episode 169. Rob Howden here alongside David Cole as we dive into our final bit here in the Superkarts USA Summer Nationals, the end of the Pro Tour for 2026. Today's Paddock Insider brought to you by Margay Racing. If you're looking for a great program and a level playing field, check out Margay Racing's Spec Ignite class and their Arrive and Drive packages. Nothing matches the affordability and competitive level of the Ignite program. It's where the best drivers win over the best equipment. Bring your safety gear, and Margay will take care of the rest. For more information, please visit ignitekarting.com today. Get off the couch and into a race seat. All right, David, let's get in here for the Paddock Insider. You obviously were rolling around. You were busy on Friday picking up all this information. There was lots going on. Give us some of the stuff that you presented throughout Friday with the Paddock Insider.
Well, we began with, again, the intro to the weekend, and 12 years straight at Newcastle Motorsports Park. It's been a strong partnership over the last 12 years, including the summer festival that we did have in 2020 with 3 rounds per weekend, 2 weekends back to back. Yeah. So, a long history there, and it looks like it's going to continue into the future. So don't expect to see the Summer Nationals going anywhere, but and then again, kind of highlighted the weather and what was to come for the weekend.
You know, the thing about 12 years straight at Newcastle, and I talk a lot and have over the years about date equity and venue equity, right? Date equity is a little tougher. The SCUSA and a number of organizations moving their dates all over the place. Nobody's really locked anything in other than maybe the Super Nationals, as we know, mid-November. At least venue equity. So, the Summer Nationals is connected now to Newcastle Motorsports Park. I like that. I know that people want to move things around, but it's one of the marquee racetracks in the country. Everybody knows it. They love coming there. The Dismores and the Adams do a flipping great job in terms of being hosts for everybody. So I like the fact that they know it's going to be there. Maybe they can lock down the date equity as well. But yeah, Newcastle's the home of the Summer Nat. Simple as that.
I think the date equity is kind of locked in now. That is something that's been kind of bouncing around. It was in the August months, but to be honest, that's when school starts. This is the week that school starts right now in Indiana. Yeah. So they were trying to get the event done before school starts in Indiana,
which is ridiculous, by the way.
It is. Indiana is ridiculous. I mean, Ohio, Indiana, they're all. Yeah, my feelings on those states. How do
you put the kids back to school in August? My goodness, it's summer.
Well, it's July. Right now, it's July. It shouldn't even. They shouldn't even be thinking about school right now. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I think this is they're going to be the standard weekend for the Summer Nationals. To moving forward.
Let's go to the next one. There are now 2 dads racing in Pro Shifter. Let's talk about that. I love it.
Yeah, Billy Musgrave became a father just hours before the weekend began. He was in Newcastle Motorsports Park preparing for the weekend. And I believe it was Tuesday night. He got a call from his wife that water had broke and she was in the hospital. They were looking. It was a month early before the due date. They were trying to, see if they could stall the natural process of childbirth, and they were not able to. And so both his identical twin boys were born Tuesday evening. Billy rushed back to California to be there with mother and the 2 boys. Obviously, being born a month early and twins, they were a little bit smaller, so got it to go into the NICU for a couple days just to make sure everything was fine and everything was working. And so both mother and babies were healthy, and he hopped on a red eye to get back to Newcastle Motorsports Park for Thursday morning. Or Friday, over Thursday to hit the racetrack Friday morning, and be on track for session 3 of the day. So a wild and crazy week for Billy Musgrave and their family, which is now 4, doubled up in 4, and he's doubled the number. I think. I think Hunter Piggott has 2 as well. So
well, like I said too. So for Billy and his wife, the arrival of the 2033 National Kid Kart Champions. Let's just throw that out there right now.
Let's see. 2030, like 4-year-old? We're going to go 4-year-olds?
2033?
20. Well, you go.
I said 2033. So they're probably
33. Yes.
They'll be 6.
They'll be 6. All right. That's better.
Or 5 or 6. Yeah. All right. Listen, one of the other things too, David, you and I always keep a very close eye on who's running what chassis, right? Where we have at the end of every show, we have the chassis brands that win. We lean into that. Number of new names on the Sodi kart at the Summer Nationals. Let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, Velocity Racing welcomed Vincenzo Serenzino to the team. The deal was done a couple weeks ago, so this wasn't something that just kind of came on. He had his last race with PSL Karting before moving over this weekend with Velocity Racing. The Florida driver just felt like everything would work out in terms of logistics, being down in Florida and being able to work with the team and testing and doing more hands-on approach with the team. So it kind of was a better fit there. Another driver on the Sodi kart that came over from Europe, Dutch champion Dion van Werven, was making his USA debut under the Carblos Racing Engines tent. So it made 2 Sodi karts under that, joining Adrian Renaudin, and another Dutch driver and joining Marjan Kremers there under the tent. So that was a cool combination. He said, just learning the racetrack, it's super long. That was kind of the struggle, was to be perfect every lap. So learning the racetrack, but really enjoyed his time there at Newcastle for his first USA event. And then also Harley Keeble, another driver on the Sodi kart, returning back. He was a Sodi kart USA driver for some time, but over the last 2 seasons, he's been a driver coach. Well, he got the call from Nick Leduc at the Karting Collective. They worked before in the past, including at the Challenge of the Americas in Sonoma. Yep. And so he offered up a pro shifter ride for Keeble. It wasn't his first time in the KZ package, but definitely away from the seat. Took some time to build up that endurance, but certainly showed some pace throughout the weekend.
No doubt. One of the cool things as well was the return of a former SCUSA Pro Tour Pro X30 champion who has now made the move to sports cars and is having much success there. Hannah Greenmeyer, David, was back racing in the Pro X30 category.
Yeah, the 2021 Superkarts USA Pro Tour champion, back behind the wheel. We've seen her over the last 2 events as she's been mechanicking and driver coaching with Phil DeLeo and Josh Sarge in the KA Masters division. They both elected not to compete at the Summer Nationals, so it provided an opportunity for her to get back behind the wheel of a kart. So joined the Speed Concepts Racing tent for the weekend, had her father Gunnar on the wrenches, and then mom Lynette cheering her on from the sidelines, as it was ever since she's been karting back in the day when she was a cadet driver. So cool to see her back to the roots. Fresh coming off a first ever career pole position in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge program with the Heart of Racing team, and becoming the first female driver to earn a pole position in that series history.
Yeah, the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Canada. Very good stuff. All right, last but not least, one more bit here, the Paddock Insider, and it was I felt it was kind of stealthy. There was not a lot of chatter about it, but when the guy goes out and ends up winning the race, you're going to talk about it. David, Speed Concepts Racing talked about them with Hannah Greenmeyer, but testing the new Charles Leclerc chassis, or a Charles Leclerc chassis. Ronnie Sala from Bureau Art was there as well. Saw that picture posted with Ronnie and Mike Speed up on the PSL karting, on top of the PSL karting trailer, survey in the action. But interesting, Austin Garrison testing that Charles Leclerc chassis. Maybe we'll see more of that machine under the SCR tent this year.
Yeah, exactly that. It was supposed to be a test weekend, just a Thursday, Friday situation. And then the Speeds decided to race Austin Garrison both Saturday and Sunday.
The so-called retired driver.
Yeah, it's more than likely probably a one and done, but it's something that they're looking at trying to look towards the future. They also had Matias Ramirez on the Burrell Art under the tent as well too, as they're maybe diving back into the shifter program again under the Speed Concepts Racing tent. So it could be a new partnership down the road. Nothing's confirmed yet, but as you said, Austin was working with not only Speeds under the tent, but with PSL Karting and Burrell Arts Ronnie Sala there, who was there trackside. So a lot of experience there for Austin Garrison to divulge, and debrief with in terms of the chassis, and also Diego Ramos, driving with PSL Karting. So lots of stuff going on around that. And it was cool to that was kind of the problem. Every time I went over to talk, they were always debriefing, and it's like, well, I'm not going to interrupt this, man. I mean, yeah, it's just, you got to kind of just have to back off. So we weren't really it wasn't going to be a racing situation. Then Friday he pulled up for qualifying. So
there you go.
Or Saturday.
Saturday morning. All right, folks, there you go. The Paddock Insider presented by Margay Racing. We get back after another quick break. We'll dive into the race report. Get ready for Pro Shifter and, of course, Pro X30.
The karting championship that's taken Europe by storm and helped launch today's top open-wheel stars is now in the United States. Introducing Champions of the Future America. Champions of the Future America is a 9-round series that welcomes drivers across multiple classes, including Mini, KA100, and X30. Champions of the Future America tours 2 of the Southwest's premier karting facilities, K1 Circuit in Southern California and Spring Mountain Karting Complex in Nevada. Drivers will compete across 8 unique track layouts in pursuit of a prize pool valued at over $130,000. The ultimate reward? Our X30 Pro champion will win an all-expenses-paid trip to France for a 3-day Formula 4 training camp at the legendary Winfield Racing School at Circuit Paul Ricard. Learn more about Champions of the Future America. Register now at championskartingamerica.com. That's championskartingamerica.com.
Let decades of experience and success lead you to the top of the podium. Join Brandon Jarsacrack Racing as your race team at the sport's major events in the United States. Brandon Jarsacrack is a 4-time United States Pro Kart Series champion, along with a multi-time Superkarts USA Pro Tour and WKA Manufacturers Cup Series race winner. Jarsacrack is ranked among one of the best from his generation to get behind the wheel of a racing kart. BJR provides full race team service and support at all USPKS, SCUSA, and Stars Championship Series events, along with trackside programs at the Trackhouse Motorplex in Mooresville, North Carolina. Partnering with Mike Doty Racing, Brandon's team of driver coaches and mechanics are passionate for the sport, providing decades of experience both on the track and working with many of today's karting standouts and current motorsport stars. Brandon Jarsacrack Racing offers a full range of services, including kart preparation, driver coaching, and race event support for both 2-cycle and 4-cycle competitors. BJR is an official LN Racing Kart team with OTK USA and is an official Offset Sport race team. Contact them today to develop a program based around your needs. Head to BrandonJarsacrack.com to learn more. We're back at it here in the EKN Debrief, unpacking the Superkarts USA SummerNationals, the final round of the Pro Tour here for 2026. Diving in now to the race report presented by Parolin USA. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products. The brand is rich in history and success dating back to the early 1990s throughout Europe. Today, Parolin is among the winningest brands in the USA and around the world. Karters can head to the ParolinUSA.com website where the entire chassis line and parts lineup are available to you, with shipping available all across North America within 48 hours. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. All right, David, let's dive in here as we always do. I'll throw the headline out. We'll start filling in the information afterwards. Taking a little bit of a different approach to our debriefs here, so not diving deep in, but we'll talk about what happened during those sessions. We'll start with Pro Shifter, presented by PSL Karting. Here's the headline. Morgado becomes second driver to sweep season victories.
Yeah, the pro shifter category has that unique format. Again, just one round of racing on the weekend, and it begins with 2 qualifying sessions. So half the field in one group, half the field in the other, and then they take the top 12 into the Super Pole session. Rob, would you say Thursday practice doesn't matter for the pro guys? Because it doesn't. Musgrave just coming back from visiting his new children and wife in the hospital. Didn't practice on Thursday. Set the fast time in his group of 104.898. And then AJ Myers, who showed up for Friday morning, came through and put down the fast lap in his group, a 104.889. So there you go, Rob. It's about the driver. It's not about the practice time.
It is. And the pro at the pro level, these guys
at the pro level,
and they know this. Let's be how much time does Musgrave and Myers have on this race?
Exactly,
right?
Decades on this race.
In the end, Super Pole went to AJ Myers, though. Again, those 2-lap runs, which I love. I love the fact that you got to go out and get it done quick. Myers came away with the pole with a 104.810. Great stuff for AJ Myers.
Yeah, and a great start, because this was the weekend he needed. He needed a bounce back, and so I think to start the way he did, I think was a positive. And then you go into the opening heat race, and it was chaotic in the opening laps, and it ended up costing Danny Formal and Kyle Wick valuable positions and points, as Formal got spun around. Wick had nowhere to go, smashed him, head-on-head collision. Formal continued. Wick, and eventually, I think Formal did retire. If I'm correct, I'm not sure. But
I think Formal continued. Wick retired. I think Wick was that.
Either way, both had bad results. Did not finish well. This allowed Morgado to go away with the win ahead of Myers and Kremers. While Heat 2 was
let me just go back real quick. The other guy that got hosed in that big time too was Gavin Bailiff. Because I know you talk about Bailiff coming back at the end. He was forced to the grass. It was the exit of turn 1 where the incident happened. He gets forced to the grass. He lost at least 7, 8, 9, 10 positions, I think, going off track.
Well, again, the field was bunched up like crazy over that opening heat race. So the temperature might not have been hot, but the action was on track. But bounce back for Formal and Wick in the second heat. Formal taking the win over Wick. With Morgado there slotting in the third. That gave him the pre-final pole position alongside Myers, Kremers, Irwin, and Musgrave are the top 5 on the pre-final grid to start. And again, a interesting pre-final as well, where Wick turned up the wick and came from outside the top 5 and just drove all the way up to the front, scoring the win ahead of Jay Irwin, as Formal came through as well too. Morgado slid back to the 4 spot, while Myers back to 5th, as again it was Wick, Irwin, and Formal that were kind of trying to show their dominance there in the pre-final. But again, that's when the first set of tires were essentially done. So then you move over to new tires for the main event, where Morgado and Irwin were on the front row, Myers and Wick in row 2. And Morgado did not get off the line very well, actually missed a shift into second gear, kind of bogged everything up and bogged everybody up. This allowed Jay Irwin to go around and get the whole shot from the front row and pull away quickly, as Morgado bunched up the rest of the field behind him, eventually getting away. But that allowed everybody else to attack on Myers and Formal, and everybody was just basically the first opening couple of laps was just kind of like the opening heat race. Would you say, Rob?
Yeah, very, very, very true. It was hectic for sure.
Yeah. So this essentially allowed Irwin and Morgado to get away from the field. By lap 3, Morgado was into the lead, and that was it for the top spot, as Irwin's pace wasn't really quite there in the main event. He eventually would get caught by Myers, who was about 2.5 seconds back of Morgado. And just basically they were running the similar lap times to the rest of the main event. So Morgado ended up going away, scoring a 3rd straight victory to clinch his 2nd Superkarts USA Pro Tour Championship.
Yeah, AJ Myers finishing in second spot. Danny Formal on the podium in third. Gavin Bailiff, a good drive up through the field after issues started deeper in the field. He got himself up into fourth. Kyle Wick, in all that chaos at the start, David went off the racetrack and turned one on the exit of one, I believe, and had to get back on. Fell all the way back to 13th and marched his way back to P5. It kind of stalled at that point. Wasn't able to go any further forward. But otherwise, overall, a great weekend for Wick. He looked super strong. It just a couple of unlucky incidents. I honestly think he probably would have been the guy to win the weekend. Had not been for those two incidents.
Yeah, Irwin back to 6th after leading early on. Kremers in 7th there. He looked like he had a podium shot early, but that pace fell off as well too. Josh Conker in 8th, so a Canadian up there in the top 10, along with Frenchman Adrian Renaudin in 9th, and another Dutchman up there in the 10th with Dion Van Werven.
One of the cool things for Josh Conker had a tire issue, I believe, that there was a tire was off. I'm sure it was delaminating, whatever it was. They had to swap it around. He qualified horribly. He was the hard charger in both heat races to work his way up into the top 10, I think from 17th or something like that, up into the top 10, and then raced hard. It was with Kremers there, and literally finishing 8th with the late race, like with 2 to go, retirement for Saraceno. Conker actually getting himself into the Circle of Champions. He was the 10th in points. So massive for him there. If he does want to come back again to race next year with the Circle of Champions benefits, all the entries, tires, you name it, it'll give him a chance if he wants to come back and run another season. So good stuff for him there for sure.
Yeah, so championship-wise, Morgado taking the title by 103 points over Danny Formal, who completed his first full Pro Tour since 2016. So second place there when he was first in 2016, 10 years ago. And then Martin Kremers ending up third in the championship, back by 161.5 points to cap off the championship podium. Yeah, as you said, Jay Irwin 4th, Kyle Wick, Gavin Bailiff 6th, Moily Musgrave 7th, Jacob Gulick 8th, AJ Myers 9th, and Josh Conker rounding out the top 10, who do all 10 get that free entry for the 2027 season.
Speaking of the championships and Morgado, let's dive into our quick takeaway section here. Let's talk about Morgado, David, and talk about him sweeping all the main events. Not the first guy to sweep all the headline category main events, though.
Yeah, Morgado becomes the second driver to sweep the headline category main events, the shifter cart main events, matching that to Jordan Lennox, who was able to do that back in 2014. Lennox actually winning 5 races that year, 2 in Dallas, 2 at the infamous Modesto Grand Prix, and then winning at the SuperNationals to clinch the title. But Morgado does become the 4th driver with multiple Superkarts USA titles in the headline category.
Nice. Talking about Wick, it's part of the takeaways, I think. He, like I say, fastest driver in the final, unbelievably quick. Again, David, just like I said, just zero luck. Those 2 incidents. I think he was the guy to beat on the weekend. I really do.
Yeah, the first incident, again, just nowhere to go, and then the second one at the start of the main cost him a chance at the title or at the victory, because he certainly was the quickest driver. He showed it in the pre-final on the old tires, and then showed it with the new tires, putting in the fast lap of the race. And if he wouldn't have been off at turn 1, he would have definitely been up there.
I think so too. Mentioned Gavin Bailiff being part of that incident where he had to go. When Formal spun, he had to go all the way around to the right side. If you're familiar with Newcastle Motorsports Park, turn 1 and 2, the 2 left-hand 90-degree corners. Well, if you go off driver's right into the grass there, you're losing so much. I can't remember how far back Bailiff fell, but all told, from there, able to march his way back forward and was a factor in the main event. He was battling there in the top 10.
Yeah, started 10th and looked like he had an opportunity to maybe get by Formal there for the podium spot, but just wasn't able to do that there in the closing laps. So a near podium finish for him, a good way to end the season after a little bit of tough go after picking up a Superkarts USA Winter Series victory and all that. So a good way to finish the year.
David, give us your last bit here on the takeaways.
Yeah, again, pro shifter, 7 of the 10 top 10 drivers, international drivers. So again, you got Myers and Musgrave and Bailiff The only drivers from the USA, all the rest, or actually it wasn't, it was Wick, sorry. Wick, Bailiff, and Myers were the top 10. Musgrave there just on the outside, finishing 11th. So, again, just shows how crazy the evolution of the pro shifter category has come. I mean, we've seen international drivers since the beginning with Daniel Bray being in there, and all the other past champions, Jordan Lennox, Rick Drizan. Again, it's been cool to kind of just continue to see the international stage look at the Pro Tour as a destination.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it gives you that little elevated action when you get so many Europeans to come over to race in the series. And again, Gus Lawrence said it on the broadcast. He just thinks it's one of the top, obviously the top programs. The coverage is great. The actual events themselves, the Circle of Champions. There's just a lot of stuff that Scooz has put together to make it such a premier program across the world now. All right, let's head into Pro X30 to cap off this first segment of the race report. Pro X30 presented by Nash Motorsports. Here's the headline. Lawrence and Hodgson grab wins as Turney locks up second title.
It was quite an interesting day on Saturday as we all kind of went in there expecting the best out of Joe Turney, and that's not what we got. Instead, it was a stellar performance by Gus Lawrence, who just missed out on the fast time in qualifying. That was done by Ruben Moya, a 107.592. But from there, it essentially was Gus Lawrence going away to the pre-final win over Massimino and Moya, and then a wire-to-wire performance in the main event, winning by a massive 4.7 seconds in the main event for his second victory on the season.
Yeah, David, he got out early there, and they just started battling for second. And Lawrence was putting down such great laps, no worries. He just pulled away. Then, as always, once you get to that point where the guys behind realize they're not battling for the race win anymore, they go to work fighting each other. So it was fun to watch. Oliver Hodgson finishing in second, Jake Drew on the podium as well for RPG, Hodgson for Factory Karts. Moya had a good weekend all told. He ended up finishing in the 4th spot. Paulie Massimino P5, but a fantastic wire-to-wire win for Lawrence. In that morning mist we talked about for qualifying on Sunday, Caden McQueen, David, actually with the fastest lap in qualifying, a 108.279.
Yeah, and again, we thought guys were doing track position, but it was really kind of just finding the grip level, and that's what was the issue in that session. As
well, the one thing too, Dave, they only got 3 laps in because they were so kind of slow on their outlaps with the moisture. They didn't get all 4 laps in.
Yeah, so that's why again we thought it was track position, but it wasn't. It was finding grip, and so McQueen was the driver to get the grip as he was able to put a 108.279, which again is 7/10 slower than what was Moya doing on Saturday. So again, that did factor in. It left some people off and out of normal range, including Joe Turney, Gus Lawrence. Turney was 24th in the session. Gus Lawrence was 16th in the qualifying session. So caught a lot of people out. But once racing action continued, we actually saw Devin Roberts come through with a last lap photo finish over Paulie Massimino, with McQueen back in 3rd at the pre-final. That's where we saw Turney and Lawrence move themselves up to 10th and 8th to kind of put themselves somewhat in the range for the main event. And then when the main event started, we saw basically a 5-driver pack kind of break away, while the rest of us were kind of looking at what Turney and Lawrence, and eventually Massimino, who got shoved off at the start there and got shuffled back. So it was those 3 drivers making their way forward and then eventually getting to 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then running down that top 5 ahead of them, and then just seeing how much they were going to attack on those drivers, while eventually it ended up being Oliver Hodgson that got to the front of that 5-driver pack. He and Diego Ramos were able to essentially kind of break away there at the end. And it was those 2 drivers that decided the victory. Hodgson winning the drag race to the line by 64 thousandths of a second. So first Factory Karts victory in the Pro X30 category. done by Oliver Hodgson.
Yeah, very impressive drive for Oliver. Ramos gave it a good shot there on the final lap, tried to get the run out of 17 and 18, drag race to the line. A lot of drag races to the line with the start-finish line being so far down into turn number 1. Turney ended up locking down that championship with a great drive up into third. Think about that. In qualifying, I remember I was scrolling down after the final, after they only got 3 laps in qualifying. I had to keep scrolling down on live timing to find Joe all the way down in 24th, which was obviously shocking. But he was able to go to 10th, as David said, in the pre-final, ends up finishing 3rd on the podium in the final to lock down the championship by 81 points over Gus Lawrence. Paulie Massimino, again, working forward, as we know, and end up 4th in the final. David, he was 3rd. 96 points separated Turney, Lawrence, and Massimino. But yeah, Joe Turney, very impressive. Not only did Joe Turney win the championship, but David, if we go into the takeaways, British-born drivers, man, looking pretty good.
Well, let me get on Turney there a little bit, because Saturday, again, we didn't really talk about it, but just the fact he barely just got into the top 5.
They weren't good
throughout the day in the main event, and then Contact, as he was in the top 10, dropped him out. He actually ended up finishing it back out of the top 20. So again, we were kind of questioning going into Sunday, would he be able to step up, and he did, and was able, after the qualifying situation, again, you're kind of like, what's going to happen? Yeah. And again, it was mostly, kind of looking at the points and everything. It was as long as he could keep Lawrence and Massimino in front of him or near him, he was going to be all right. And so that was kind of the focus on that. But yeah, looking at the victories on the season, again, all 3 winners on the year, including Turney, Lawrence, and Hodgson, are all British-born drivers. So they sweep the main events in 2026. Yeah,
pretty wild, right? Yeah, indeed. And I'll just add to, Joe Turney, just the whole action on Saturday, it was just not it was not characteristic Joe Turney. That the kart just didn't work. They were struggling. Every interview, he talked about that. We don't know what's going on. We're not quite sure why we're off the pace. And like I said, he was kind of falling backwards, eventually got pushed off the racetrack at the end of the main. He and Daniel Tate, though, sitting down in the time between obviously the end of Saturday and the start of Sunday, they figured something out, and he came out of the gate strong as well. Talked about Jake Drew, Dave, having a really good run on Saturday, putting it on the podium, his first podium since joining Rawlson Performance Group. He was strong on the weekend.
Yeah, and then Contact took him out of contention on Saturday. Otherwise, I think he could have been one of those drivers, battling up there in the top 5, if not for the podium on Sunday. So, after Contact took him out of contention with his Rawlson Performance Group debut at USPKS, able to get that first podium with the team.
Turney, winning the championship, David, joins some pretty rarefied air as multi-time champions in the category.
Yeah, only 2 drivers now with multiple championships in the category. Obviously, Ryan Norberg was one of them, and now Turney joins that short list of 2 drivers there in the 17-year history of the category.
Amazing. That's amazing. All right, folks, on to another break. When we get back on the race report brought to you by Parolin USA, we will discuss KA100 Senior. We'll do KA Junior and X30 Junior as well. Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rawlson Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, SummerNationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlson Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlson Performance Group. We race to win. Since 2013, Team Benek has been one of the leading driver development race teams and kart chassis brands in North America. Numerous victories and championships at all levels of the sport have been earned by drivers racing under Team Benek. Benek Kart, manufactured in Italy, utilizes modern technology and materials to deliver the best product for the racetrack. The Benek Breton 950mm chassis is the flagship model, aimed at cadet-level karting. No matter the power plant, the Benek Breton takes drivers to the top of the podium. Introduced this season is the new full-size chassis, the Benek Torpedo. The frame is designed for single-speed competition for junior, senior, and masters level drivers in 100cc and 125cc categories. Coming later this year will be the new shifter kart model for the North American market. Not only is the Benek kart found at dealers across the USA, but around the world with distributors in Asia, Mexico, and South America. The Florida-based Team Benek can be found at all major karting championships across the United States, including the Florida Winter Tour, Superkarts USA Pro Tour, United States Pro Kart Series, and many more events including Rock Vegas and the Superkarts USA SummerNationals. Find out more about the Benek Kart and Team Benek at benek-kart.com. Welcome back to episode number 169 on the EKN Debrief here on the EKN Radio Network. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole as we cap off our coverage of the Superkarts USA Pro Tour SummerNationals for 2026. We'll wrap things up with our Race Report podcast here. The Race Report today brought to you by Parallel USA. Let's dive into KA 100 Senior presented by Kart CRG USA. And here's the headline. Massimino clinches early as Bonilla and Garrison claim first wins.
Yeah, despite the lower numbers in the category, it's still a competitive weekend in this division. Eli Warren, the KA 100 senior driver, picking up the pole position or top qualifier with a 110.545. He did, however, slip back to third as it was the veterans of Ruben Moya and Paulie Massimino going up to the top two positions. Then in the main event, it ended up becoming down to a last lap battle with the multiple drivers in the mix, some contact, including taking out some drivers, including Moya, Malkit, and a few others as well. In the beginning portion of the lap, ended up becoming a photo finish. It was a 3-wide photo finish, which we typically haven't been seeing, but we saw a couple of them throughout the weekend, including this category, as Donovan Bonilla making his first start on the season in the category, beating out Paulie Massimino by 12 thousandths of a second with Chase Hand right there in the third position.
Yeah, it was Rawls Performance Group locking out the wins in both KA Senior and Pro X30 on Saturday. So they really had a good package there. Massimino was there in second, as you said. Chase Hand, a great run. Matthew Cagle was very impressive on the weekend as well, David, coming in fourth.
Yeah, he actually went off track in turn 3 on that last lap situation and actually crossed the line in the 7th spot. But penalties to Austin Garrison, Caden McQueen, and Eli Warren, that promoted Cagle up into the 4th spot and also moved Spencer Smith on the Pantano into the 5th position.
We rolled into Sunday, and Chase Hand was the driver who came out of the gate with the fast lap of 111.180. Again, think about that, 0.6 of a second off with the moisture on the morning. In the pre-final, though, David, let's talk about that. Paulie Massimino coming away with the win.
It was actually Chase Hand with the win, as he and Hand were able to get away from the rest of the field. It was fun watching those two because Hand just wanted to push Massimino away from the group, because Hand essentially was racing for the 2nd spot in the championship because Massimino had clinched the title after Saturday's runner-up results. So Massimino was racing for victory while Hand essentially kind of racing everybody else. It didn't really care if it was Massimino or him taking the win, but Hand was across the line in a quick photo finish there, but a penalty promoted Massimino to the win in that race. Either way, it was still a wild main event, multiple drivers in the mix. I thought it was going to be a Massimino Garrison breakaway, but then Diego Ramos, who actually sat out the action on Saturday due to a Euro swerve penalty in, I believe it was in warm-up, cost him action all day Saturday. So, but he was able to bring the group back up to Massimino and Garrison. including Donovan Bonilla, who came charging up through the field after some issues in the pre-final. So again, another photo finish and 3 wide at the line, this time with Austin Garrison getting the run out of the I-70 corner and down the Long Pond Straight, beating out Donovan Bonilla by 46 thousandths of a second at the line to score victory in his debut weekend in the category.
Well, let's talk about the other little layer there. Xander picked it up. We were wondering as we were kind of watching it there because Bonilla wasn't real happy. Massimino leads coming out of turn 17, right? The I-70 corner. And essentially, you're almost a sitting duck there right now. Well, Massimino played a little game, I think. I didn't confirm it with him, but it definitely looked like it. As he came through 18, the kink, it looked like he may have dragged the brake a little bit because it kind of checked up Bonilla, right? And Bonilla's hand was in the air like, what are you doing? I think he checked it because obviously trying to see if he can't stop Bonilla's run that he had. He did.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
Except for Garrison went all the way to the right side of the racetrack and just all the way down the right side and was able to pip them both at the line. So so to a certain extent, like the move from Massimino, I'm sure Bonilla didn't like it. But you're a sitting duck if you're leading there. So many drivers just sat there and waited to make the drag race to the line. Didn't work out for Massimino. Definitely didn't work out for Bonilla, but Garrison snuck by on the right side.
Well, that's the thing. I think, you had the championship hand. Why not try, see if this move works or not? Why not? I mean, I don't fault you for trying something different and unique. Yeah. I mean, you see it on NASCAR stuff all the time.
True.
Why not karting?
So Garrison with the win by 46,000, as David had said. Bonilla second, Massimino third. Kegel, another top 5. Hand as well. That P5, though, David, for Chase Hand, good enough for P2 in the championship.
Yeah, put him P2 ahead of Caden McQueen in the third spot, handily. Excuse me. So yeah, I think Hand wanted to get on the podium once again, but just came up a little bit short there with the chaotic last lap action there.
How about shout out to Hand as well? There by himself on the weekend.
It was funny. I think it was. I don't know if it was after the Saturday main event or if it was after this one, but I went in there and he's in there tearing down his own engine. Like you said, he was wrenching on his own stuff all weekend long. Obviously, his dad with the injury, keeping him at home and not being able to travel to Newcastle. So
he's also he's racing. Joey's racing actually this weekend. I think he was just home taking care of some stuff at home with the family.
Okay.
And then was because they were. I'm assuming he probably left like yesterday or today. He's heading out to Rotemary. He'll actually Joey will be back racing again this weekend, which is great after that pelvis fracture. But yeah, it was just Chase like, I'll go do this myself. That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially what this category is supposed to be, right, Rob?
Do you want to dive in that when we do the takeaways?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's part of the takeaways, right?
Let's go. Let's wrap up with that. The first takeaway. Again, I guess it kind of the first one you're talking about lead into it. Let's do your takeaways and then we'll do our commentary on the takeaways.
I was to say they're both centered around the same scenario or topic. So all 6 wins in KA 100 Senior were earned by pro drivers, those who compete in the pro category this year and have in the past. When you look at Garrison, who hasn't raced all season, but essentially he is a pro driver. So you got Massimino with 2, Moya, who raced both, Diego Ramos, who races both, Donovan Bonilla, who again raced both this weekend because he's preparing for Supernats to run both. And then Austin Garrison, a pro driver, coming back to win this. Last year's Pro X30 champion. Exactly.
Champion, yeah. And 6 pro drivers in the top 10 in points, too.
Yep, 6 pro drivers in the top 10 in points. You factor Caleb Gaffera, who ran both this weekend, so count him as a pro driver. That leaves only Matthew Cagle, who finished 5th in the standings, Isaac Malkett, who finished 8th in the standings, Eli Warren 9th in the standings, and Spencer Smith 10th in the standings. Those are essentially the 4 non-pro drivers in the KA 100 championship chase.
So you and I were in agreement. You brought it up. I think it was at dinner or whatever. On Sunday. You said, I just don't think they should allow pro drivers in KA Senior. And I said straight, I was thinking exactly the same thing as the racing was going on. And we're seeing less and less. Like again, how many drivers do we have? We've had 50 plus 50 at Newcastle at the SummerNationals. We were in the middle of mid 30s. I'm with you. I think that KA 100 category is more for, I don't want to use the word amateur, but it's for drivers coming, junior drivers coming out of the junior categories and people that are maybe club and regional drivers.
Again, we started with 47 at Tucson, 35, and then 31. And you would expect Newcastle to be 47 or more.
Yeah.
And that's not what it was. Now it could be because obviously schedule, there's lots of racing going on, lots of different factors to kind of factor in. But I have to believe that this is part of it. Because if you're a guy, mid pack, you're probably going to finish even worse because it's all pro drivers up front. Yeah. But again, the main scenario that I keep looking at it is we do have a pro category, and this is essentially the S2 category. This is where, like you said, club drivers, regional drivers should be elevated and racing at, not in X30. They should be racing in this category.
Agreed.
And we don't need the pro drivers coming down and racing this category because they've proven enough they're good. They can do it. It's like rental carts for them. They go out there, they bang the laps, and they can do it. And I just really think that we need to distinguish again. If we want to make these guys pros, let them stay in the pro category. Don't let them into the regular category.
Yeah, I'm the same when it comes to NASCAR. I hate when I see the guys in the Cup Series come down and run truck and Xfinity or whatever the names are. The series. I don't like that. O'Reilly, whatever they're called now. I don't like it because I just think if you're a Cup driver, stay in Cup. And same with this. I'm with you. I'd love to see the pro drivers stick to pro and let drivers come up and learn how to win races, learn how to run for podiums in KA. And then once they become top drivers in KA and they want to make the move to the pro category, do so. I'm on board with you on that.
Yeah, because again, this could be for the category for the drivers who are 20 something that just want to, like the Brandon Lemkes that just want to come out and race, or like I said, the club and regional guys, the 14 and 15-year-old kids that aren't quite ready to race against those pro drivers. This is your class to race. So I think that'll help a little bit in terms of the numbers. It'll drop the numbers because you'll be missing, about 10 guys that are pro drivers leaving the class. But I think in the long term, you're going to, like you said, help some of these drivers learn how to win and maybe bring some more regional guys into the mix again.
I agree. All right, let's go to KA 100 Junior, presented by TKG Barrel Art USA. Here's the headline: Schniegenberg claims title in rookie season.
Yeah, again, KA racing, always great to see at Newcastle Motorsports Park, and the junior division provided a lot of excitement throughout the weekend. Tristan Murphy pulling off fast time with a 1:11.275, but it was Ashton Woon coming up to take the win, bringing along Travis Pettit and Colton Schniegenberg into the top three. The main event was a 3-driver breakaway that included Pettit, Schniegenberg, and Tristan Murphy coming back up into the mix. They were able to get away from the rest of the field. Schniegenberg didn't take the lead until 2 laps to go, and from there was able to hold off Murphy and Pettit at the line, winning by just 33 thousandths of a second.
Yeah, big win for Colton Schniegenberg, his first on the SCUSA Pro Tour, I believe.
Yes, it was on the Pro Tour.
Clayton Stiles finishing in 4th, Nathan Goldseth rounding out the top 5. Qualifying on Sunday morning, again, talk all about the misting and the different weather conditions on the cooler temperatures on Sunday morning. It was actually, sorry, my phone's going off here. Yutzi, what's Yutzi's? Christopher Yutzi, right? Christopher Yutzi qualifying on pole. He laid the lap time down, and there was a lot of guys still to come. But that time held. He did a tremendous job in tough conditions. Christopher Yutzi ended up with a 1:11.727, qualifying on the pole position. But in the pre-final, got shuffled back a little bit. Nico Orbezo stepping up, David.
Yeah, Orbezo came up and was able to take the win ahead of Schniegenberg and Pettit. And then in the main event, it was a 2-driver breakaway, this time including Orbezo and Schniegenberg. They were able to get away eventually until the end of the race, when Ashton Woon was charging forward, was able to run down the top 2, got around Schniegenberg, and then Woon got around Schneegenberg and then nearly picked off Orbezo at the line, missing out on the win by 29 thousandths of a second, allowing Orbezo to bookend the season, winning the opening round in Tucson and winning the last round at Newcastle.
And David, in the championship chase, Colton Schneegenberg coming away. 42-point championship win over Pettit. 105 back was Ashton Woon. Schneegenberg coming in with a win on in race 1 and a third in race number 2. What an impressive run for him.
Yeah, again, came in 5th in the championship standings and did exactly what he needed to do. And again, we thought this one was going to go down to the wire, but he had other things in mind. Again, picking up that win on Saturday and again, going out and he knew Orbezo was a good driver to kind of go with and get away. And again, scored 3rd place points and locked up the championship in his rookie season. So a great championship performance weekend for him.
Yeah, listen, the racing just all weekend long. That's one of my takeaways, David. Sam, you got it down here. It was just great stuff all weekend long. So many different drivers were up in the fight. Again, look at the names of the top 5, right? That we had Schneegenberg, Murphy, Pettit, Stiles, Goldsmith, Orbezo, Woon. All these guys that were up in the middle of the fight. It was just the KA Junior was just great racing all weekend, I thought.
Yeah, great racing all weekend, competitive racing. So again, you didn't quite know who was going to be. There wasn't really one driver to beat. Schneegenberg was just kind of the more consistent driver throughout the weekend. So, and that proved overall in all 6 rounds, winning the championship. And there we had 4 different winners on the season. We had Orbezo winning twice, Samet twice, Ashton Woon and Schneegenberg picking up wins. So
that's good.
There could have been, Pettit could have won a race. Murphy should have won a race. Goldsmith, the SCUSA Winter Series champion, could have won a race. Again, lots of different drivers in the mix all season and all weekend long.
Many of the same names riding in X30 Junior, presented by Rawlson Performance Group. Here's the headline for our X30 Junior race report. Murphy grabs first as Woon earns 3rd of season.
Yeah, again, this was a 2-driver fight in the championship, but multiple drivers in the mix for the podium and wins on the weekend. Travis Pettit grabbing a top qualifier 10 bonus points with a 108.869, but slipped back to 2nd against his championship rival Ashton Woon in the pre-final with Maxwell Macha sitting there in the 3rd spot. Again, battle up until the last lap where Tristan Murphy was able to get away on the last lap and secure his first SCUSA Pro Tour victory. Finally, after I've been calling it all season long, winning by 1.3 seconds as they battled for 2nd behind him.
Yeah, of course, the championship very tight in X30 Junior. Ashton Woon finishing in 2nd, Pettit in 3rd, Goldsmith and Grayson Walcott. Another great run for Grayson Walcott in the RPG Cosmic. He finishes on the 5th spot. Come Sunday morning, though, Marco Samet, David, out of the gate, 109.850. He qualifies on pole, finished 3rd in the pre-final as Maxwell Macha came to the front. Macha was really in the fight all weekend long.
Yeah, just beat out Woon for that top spot in the pre-final. Again, yeah, just Macha was there all weekend, just didn't quite have enough there to win in the main event. As there, it was Woon who led 15 of the 16 laps, holding off Macha at the line, picking up the victory by 37 thousandths of a second. So Woon picking up a 3rd victory on the season ahead of Macha with, again, I guess we can get into the situation that unfolds in this category.
Yeah, indeed. So Woon, Macha, Pettit on the podium. Clayton Stiles ends up in 4th. Nathan Goldsmith, another top 5, just really strong all weekend long. So as they run on the racetrack and the checker flag flies, they get through tech. Woon and Pettit end up tying in the points. David actually went deep and got it. The tiebreaker is how you finished against the driver you tied with, not most wins, most 2nd place finishes, you name it. So Woon ends up getting the tiebreaker as he had beat Pettit more times than the other way around. But David, we think it's all said and done, and then let's talk about what happened with a no-call protest. This is interesting. Not a big supporter. I'm not a supporter.
How they finished on the racetrack was Ashton Woon edging out Macha, and it was Tristan Murphy edging out Pettit for the 3rd position on the racetrack. So
that's right. Yes.
As they finished, Pettit fourth, Woon first, Pettit with a fast lap of the race, which was, again, a very crucial point in the championship that tied them in the championship, factoring in the drop. So as they finished, we thought Woon was going to be the champion. That was until later over the next 15 minutes or whenever they filed the protest. There was a no call protest filed by Marco Sammet on Tristan Murphy for lap 2 contact that happened in what I believe is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn 5, the left-hander.
One.
Yeah. The same corner I was had a similar situation with. Mm-hmm. It was funny. I was looking at that video yesterday of mine. So yes, there was a no call protest filed by Sammet against Murphy for the lap 2 situation. Superkarts USA decided to rule as a penalty on Tristan Murphy, 5 seconds for contact. That dropped him down out of the third place spot, moving Pettit into the third position and essentially giving him the championship by 10 points.
Yeah. I don't get it at all. First and foremost, I hate a no-call protest. Literally, they've just opened themselves up for everybody with a GoPro to line up outside race control and want to look at every incident that just happened. It's ridiculous that they would look at a call that was a no call for a protest. Like, right, David? Like, you've opened anybody now that gets taken out could be standing in front of race control wanting to look at the video, and they can't say no. They've already done it to change a championship. And then I saw the video online, and it's not even a penalty. It's happened to you. It's happened in CKNA. It's happened to me. And you're in turn 5. And in fact, it was I think it was Pettit going through and Murphy following him through in turn 5, and it's left rear, or right rear to left front contact. I don't understand it.
Yeah, well, I'll just begin with the no call. Again, if there's no call made on the racetrack, they have video there. They have people watching. That means you said that they had already looked at it and decided not to make it a penalty, is what I was told. But I thought is what you told me.
I believe that's what I was told. That they saw it. They saw it. Obviously, they're watching it. It's up front, and they didn't make a call on it.
And so the part about it of the onboard would almost, to me now, obviously watching the video online, which I was just told was illegally taken. So this is a whole nother situation that's going on right now that we need to look at or get more information on. Again, that I saw nothing there other than it's right rear to left front contact on the exit, not at apex, not at entry. It was at exit point. And so, yeah, for me as a race director, I would not have called that contact. No. I would have called that a racing situation. He went out to the outside of the racetrack. You didn't allow for the gap to come through. And then again, I went through the situation. When you hit those rumble strips out there in turn 5, it grabs you. Yeah. It wants to bring your cart and throw it in the grass, no matter where your hands are turning the wheel. It grabs you. And
it happened to me. It happened to me as well. I know it happened to you running top 5. It happened to me as well. I went off and came back on.
And again, going back and watching my video, it was a late move that forced me to the outside like that, and he continued to force me to the outside. Where the pass was already completed by the time.
And the first pass, remember, he gets past
the first and second pass.
Yeah, so he already gets passed by his teammate, and then Murphy's just following Pettit through.
So again, looking at this, the no call situation, that part of it, I just call unsportsmanlike. I don't know how you can submit a no call protest like that when really it doesn't factor where you finished.
Yeah.
Basically, you're doing this to help your teammate out.
Exactly.
I don't like that situation.
I don't either.
Secondly, the call was wrong. It should have just been a racing situation and all of that. So then in turn, so again, it's just for me, it's 2 negatives.
It's 3 negatives. It's 3 negatives, right?
It's 3 negatives.
It's 3 negatives. It's just, again, I was blown away by it. It makes no sense to me. But hey, in the end, here it is. Pettit with the championship, Woon in second by 10 points. Tristan Murphy finishes in third in the championship itself. Your takeaways, David, you talked about it. First SCUSA Pro Tour victory for Tristan Murphy. You have been
Finally.
you have been calling it. In like every one of our outlaps, you're like, Tristan Murphy's going to win one of these. Tristan Murphy's going to win one of these. And well-deserved. Did a tremendous job. Ashton Woon, though, what a great season. I know he did not win the championship, but 3 wins on the season. This kid, very impressive all year long.
Yeah, and then to go, again, only, again, essentially it was tied, and now it's only 10-point difference. But kind of breaking down the situation between Pettit and Woon. Pettit had 3 top qualifier, 10 bonus points there, so that's 30 points. Woon only had 1. Pettit won 3 pre-finals. Woon only won 2. Main events, Pettit won 2. Woon won 3, but fast lap of the race, Pettit had 5 of the 6 on the season. Wow. So that's, qualifying and fast lap of the race. That's 80 points right there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no doubt.
So it's a big difference.
Good stuff again for all the drivers in the junior categories. Off to our next break. We come back on the race report brought to you by Pearland USA. We'll talk KA100 Master, maybe for the last time on the Pro Tour. We'll wrap it up with Mini and Micro Swift as well. More to come on this edition of the EKN Debrief. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the United States, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. 8 brands under the OTK USA banner are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour, the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, the United States Pro Kart Series, and even more programs throughout the country. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. Tony Kart, Cosmic, Esprit, EOS, and Red Speed have been joined by the Gallard, LN Racing Kart, and CS55 brands. To learn more about a specific product line or to find the OTK USA dealer near you, visit otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. OTK, the gold standard of karting. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in the world of karting with a never-ending focus on winning. Kart CRG USA is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, Kart CRG USA supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 has been designed specifically for the US market. The KT5 is the perfect fit for X30, KA100, and other tag platforms, featuring the new Aero package and VEN 11B braking system. For cadet drivers, the CRG Black Beer continues to log in victories and championships across the globe, and is utilized in both 2-cycle and 4-cycle competition here in North America. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, continues its excellence for those in the shifter kart ranks. The CRG FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs & Stratton competition, with numerous podium results across classes at the CKNA divisional and national events. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. Kart CRG USA has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to kartcrgusa.com, or to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at sales@kartcrg.com. All right, folks, let's wrap things up, at least for the race report of this edition of the Debrief, episode 169. We're talking about the Superkarts USA SummerNationals, the final round of the Pro Tour for 2026. Our race report brought to you by Pearland USA. Let's go to KA100 Master, presented by Mint Motorsports. Here's the headline: Barrios doubles up in championship celebration.
Yeah, a near weekend sweep for Mario Barrios. Saturday was a sweep, setting fast time qualifying, winning the pre-final, and then again winning the main event, which was quite interesting as rain hit the beginning portion of the race, so kind of left the guys driving around with their tiptoes for a little bit. Eventually, though, Mario Barrios was able to get away to score the victory by just over a tenth for his third straight victory on the season.
Yeah, so essentially dry at the start, wet in the middle, dry at the end. 7 or 8 second delta in what they were able to do on the racetrack during that. And then, but then it dried up at the end. They almost got back to their same fast laps. They got within a second, I think, at the end of the session. All told, it was RPG versus Tyler Prestel. That's what it was. And there was Mario Barrios, Ming-Yan Zhu, and Mike Rollison of RPG were racing. Prestel with Adrenaline Fix Karting, the local driver who knows Newcastle Motorsports Park very well, he was battling up against all of these RPG cosmics. So that essentially was the battle. He pushed hard. Mike Rawls did a good job playing a good wingman to his customers, Barrios and Zhu. Presto was fast, though, and he was actually posted the fastest lap in both main events, Saturday and Sunday. Just able to nip Rawlson at the line in a drag race. Ming-Yan Zhu was there as well. He actually overcooked it in the corner and took out he and Prestel at the end of the Saturday main event, which was unfortunate. But Barrios was the win. Zhu second, Prestel third, Rawlson fourth. Christian Smith rounds out the top 5. Zhu came out of the gate on Sunday. David qualified on the pole, but again in the pre-final, it was Barrios out front.
Yeah, that was the only session that Barrios didn't finish in P1 position, winning the pre-final and then getting away at the in the final laps of the main event, going away to a 2.3 margin of victory for his fourth victory in a row and to clinch the championship.
Yeah, Tyler Prestel, they had to change a bunch of stuff on the kart after the contact, but was Zhu at the end of the day. So qualified about 0.8 of a second off. They kind of figured out some of the little stuff they had missed when they put the kart back together. He was back at it again. Fast lap of the race, as I had said, again on Sunday. Ends up finishing second as he and Rawlson get by Zhu at the end of that one. Jose Eduardo de la Garza Elizondo finishing in 5th, which would put him up to 3rd in points. Barrios wins the championship. Phil DeLeo, although not there for the finale, had 4 really good results in Tucson and Cincinnati. He ends up in 2nd. Competitive racing, David, all told, as a takeaway. I think the top 4 put on a show. It wasn't a 30 kart field, but it was a heck of a lot of fun to call because, honestly, the racing was great throughout the entire weekend with those top 4 drivers.
It was great to watch. It was fun to kind of see how it was going to play out. And so, yeah, it was fun to watch. Again, competitive all weekend long. The question now is this should be and probably will be the last weekend for the category on the SCUSA Pro Tour.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just don't see it coming back. They've already removed Master Shifter from the SuperNationals. Maybe that's just for a 1-year situation. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But regarding the Pro Tour, like, you can save a lot of time. Maybe extend some of the races a little bit longer if you do remove this category, which again, just if it would average 15 drivers for the season, I think they'd be able to keep it. But when you're in single digits, it just doesn't help keep the class going.
It's been on life support for 3 or 4 years, Dave.
Yeah.
Honestly, right?
Well, again, we've only had it a couple times for this. We had it in COVID year. We did have the category come back or make its debut. We had it in 2023. Tried again, didn't work out.
I raced that weekend. Yep.
And then now, so tried it again. So it's just, yeah. We've had Tag Master since 2010, since the Pro Tour started. It went to 2022 and then moved over to K Master in 2023, where we had no numbers. There was an influx of people doing the SCUSA Winter Series, so they brought it back for the Pro Tour. Unfortunately, the numbers didn't dictate it. So
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's what it is. Let's go to Mini Swift, presented by Mega Power Engines. Here's your headline: Westbrook puts in championship performance.
Certainly did that, coming in as the championship leader and not having a victory. While he swept the action on Saturday, setting fast time and qualifying at 1:14.801, going on to win the pre-final ahead of Aiden Go and Mason Brody. And then in the main event, it was a wire-to-wire performance going out to a 2-second margin of victory by the end of the race to score his first victory on the season.
Yeah, they started racing behind him. Aiden Go ended up finishing in second, Jake Manalio in third, Mason Brody in fourth, and Slate Harrell rounding out the top five. Samuel Chavery, the driver, came out of the gate in qualifying on Sunday at 118.251. Again, it was very misty for them early in the run.
Well, yeah, a 4-second difference in fast times in qualifying.
Yeah, indeed. In the pre-final, though, Jake Manalio stepping up. He was really good throughout the weekend. I felt like he kept getting better, in fact, Manalio. They were really dialing things in. He wins the pre-final. Westbrook in second, Chavery in third.
Yeah, just edged out Westbrook for the pre-final win. And then in the main event, it was the other way around as Westbrook held off Manalio there at the end of the race, scoring the victory by just 42 thousandths of a second.
Yeah, Go finishing in third again on the podium both days. Brody Stoffel in the fourth spot, and Marcelo Flores rounding out the top five. Westbrook took the championship over Mason Brody by 104 points. Brody was out early, I think, in the main event, if I'm not mistaken, on Sunday. Jake Manalio with a good weekend brings himself back up again. Manalio with a third and a second stacked up some points, jumped himself up into third in the points. Great job there.
Yeah, and then takeaways, again, just Westbrook coming in as the championship leader without a win, and then went on to win both main events to make it no question he was winning the championship. So that was a. Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, I was just going to say multiple brands winning. There's a number of karts we're seeing up front any weekend here in the cadet categories.
Yeah, Benek, Parolin, Nitro Kart, Alonso Kart, all different brands in the mini category, and good to see that.
Yeah, let's go to Micro Swift, presented by Grupa Santana Vega. Here's the headline. Compatiello claims career first as Wyatt scores win to celebrate title.
Again, micro division, always putting on good racing. Trey Sanders, the championship contender, came in with a fast time on Saturday qualifying, a 116.950, but fell back to second behind Liam Compatiello. Did I say that correct?
Nice work, Dave. There you go. Well done.
And then, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Ended up being another three wide finish, I think, in the main event as Compatiello was able to hold off Bo Wyatt by 41 thousandths of a second at the line for his first SCUSA Pro Tour victory. Francisco was right there in the third spot, but was penalized for contact. That dropped him off the podium, moving Trey Sanders into third and Dusty Strayer into the fourth spot, while Francisco ended up finishing in the fifth position.
Trey Sanders dominated the qualifying. Not only did he qualify P1 on Saturday, did the same thing on Sunday. Again, the track off again. He was over a second and a half slower on Sunday. Driver stepping up, though, in the pre-final day was Cohen Scott. He looked really good. Got himself to the front, marched his way forward, took the pre-final victory over Francisco. Good job there for Cohen, and kind of put his name in the discussion on the weekend.
Definitely. And then Sanders slipped back to third there in the pre-final. But and I need more information on this, Rob. I think you and Xander were talking about it. So Sanders finished third on the track, but was penalized 15 seconds for manipulating the start. That dropped him all the way down to the 19th position. Yeah. Can you kind of give us a little more information on that? I can't
remember whether there was one race where whoever was the pole sitter bolted off early, and they didn't didn't slow everybody up coming out of the shark fin. And there was a ton of carts. I'm not sure if that was that session. Remember Xander mentioned one about a guy punching off early, like just a very quick start, because there was a start box, right? Well down the line, there was some blue cones setting out a start box before you could punch off. I believe this may have been the run where the pole sitter just kind of pulled out too quick. And not everybody was in position when they went green. I think it was either that or punching off early. I can't really
remember. He was, because Sanders was the pole guy. So
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this wasn't the only one, because there were a couple other starts that had a penalty like this, or a couple other races. Yeah. I'm not sure where, but either way, that penalty to Sanders essentially took him out of the championship contention, moving Bo Wyatt into the third spot, giving him the provisional championship going into the main event. So that was kind of the story there. Yep. As we went into the feature with the top three drivers getting away. including Campatiello, Wyatt, and Dusty Strayer, as Cohen Scott and Francisco got shuffled out in the main event there. On track, by scoring, it was Campatiello scoring the victory ahead of Bo Wyatt, with Dusty Strayer right there in third. But in the photo finish, it was a visual change of position for the win, as they declared Bo Wyatt the winner, crossing the line first ahead of Campatiello.
Yeah, and listen, you have to do that for sure. You got, again,
flashbacks, Rob.
Yeah. We I can't remember what year it was, but I did tell the story.
2016, I believe.
I did tell the story. It was a battle between Brandon Lemke and David Malukas, the now Penske Racing IndyCar driver. The drag race to the line for the race win in KA, probably. KA Junior?
I think it was Tag Junior.
Tag Junior. Yeah. Probably Tag Junior. Live timing gave it to Malukas. Everything's great. We celebrate. I come back. I'm home. CBS Sports Network sends me the clip package for me to do the voiceover on. And there's literally standing right at start finish is one of the green light cameras. And it was about a foot that Lemke actually got the win. I remember having to call Tom Kutcher and saying, "Oh, there's an issue here, buddy." So yeah.
It was actually 2015. That's because I remember talking about it going into last year's SummerNationals. Yeah. Now looking back at it, because as you said, I think that was the situation with the championship, because I think that helped Lemke.
It was
in the long term earn the championship. So
exactly.
Malukas won in 2014 the championship, and then Lemke won it in 2015.
So to suffice it to say, live timing is really good. But you have to have that video camera, I think, for photo finishes. Kudos on Scusa for having that there, and then making the call to move Bo Wyatt to the race win, as he actually earned. So that was a good job.
Yeah, so Wyatt got to celebrate his championship with the victory in the final round, taking the championship by 129 points over Trey Sanders, with Canadian Tristan Francisco third, 218 points back.
Dave, 5 different winners on the season. I love when we see different drivers win like this, but man, Micro was wide open every weekend.
It certainly was that. Bo Wyatt, the only driver to double up on the season. And again, multiple drivers in the contention. Dusty Strayer went without a victory, and he finished 4th in the championship. So easily could have had possibly 6 different winners on the year.
David, one of the takeaways from Mini Swift was multiple chassis brands, and they had the same thing here in the Micro Swift class. Bennick, Nitro, up front in Micro, but for Bennick, a big year in the Scusa Pro Tour. They swept both cadet titles.
Yeah, swept both cadet titles and earned their first Micro title since the class started back in 2016.
Wow. All right, folks, our final break. When we get back, we're going to come back. We'll have a look at the Constructors' Championship. We'll wrap things up, and, of course, we'll finish it all up as we always do with the EKN Trackside Live Race Calendar. There's a new hot-button name in American safety equipment, Stilo USA. Every product with Stilo is focused on safety, comfort, and function. Stilo USA is happy to provide you with the proper safety apparel to keep you protected on the track, and their karting lineup is second to none. New to the product lineup is the Stilo Carbon CMR karting helmet. Designed to revolutionize your karting experience, this carbon fiber crafted helmet is among the lightest on the market, without compromising on safety. The Stilo ST5 KRT karting helmet is manufactured using a lightweight and extremely strong composite material. The KRT provides an excellent fit and comfort level due to its dual density interior foam lining, and it's equipped with a symmetrical visor that offers excellent vision and an effortless central visor locking system. The Stilo ST5 CMR standard was developed jointly by the FIA Institute and Snell Memorial Foundation to ensure safer and lighter weight helmets for younger karters. Drivers rave about the superior comfort levels, lightweight construction, and the unparalleled field of vision that is perfect for the youth helmet line. Stilo didn't stop with their helmets either. The newly developed Carbon Curva rib protector is unlike any other on the market, with a form-fitting solution to offer superior protection. The Carbon Curva 8870 version is FIA homologated and includes a chest protector. Head to stilohelmets.com to review these products and many more to keep you safe on the track. Stilo, any competition, one helmet. Motor mounts. They keep your engine attached to your chassis, right? The answer is, they're much more important than that. Your motor mount is critical in transferring 100% of the power from your engine through to your tires and the racetrack. You need this to get on the podium each and every time you race. Odenthal Racing Products is here for you, providing the best motor mounts on the karting market today, all designed to make sure you're using all the horsepower you pay for. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience in providing products with unmatched quality and value for our racing community. The Pro Series mount for 2-cycle engines, which is available in 0, 5, and 8-degree inclinations, provides a rigid structure to help keep vibration to a minimum without adding too much weight to your setup. The 4-cycle Easy Set system is one of the most popular mounts for the Briggs & Stratton 206 power plant. Multiple mounting holes provide the most adjustability depending on your chassis and seat placement. To ensure a tight fit to your chassis, our ORP wedge clamps get the job done, and they feature a number of design updates to provide a lower profile and lighter weight. The clamps are available from 28mm to 32mm in both standard and Euro style sizes. And now, Odenthal has also revolutionized the karting industry with its new Easy GP camera mounting system. Designed to mount anywhere on your chassis with 1 or 2 cameras, the ORP Easy GP camera mount is your solution to capture that onboard winning moment. Head to odenthalracing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, proudly made in the USA. All right, folks, time to put a wrap on this edition of the EKN Debrief, finishing off our Superkarts USA Pro Tour Summer Nationals coverage with episode number 169 of the Debrief. Let's dive in here right now with the Constructors Championship. We've talked a lot about chassis throughout the show here. 8 brands winning over the 15 races on the weekend. David, let's walk us through which chassis brands scored victories at Newcastle.
It's crazy. I think all 3 races were 8 brands. Looking back, thinking about it in the other events, so it's been a good diverse season. Yeah. But Cosmic led the way on the weekend, picking up 4 victories. Tony Kart and Bennick with 3 wins apiece as well. So they were kind of the 3 stars of the weekend, if you think about it hockey style, right? 3 stars.
There you go. Yeah, Molson 3 stars.
There you go. I don't think Molson's sponsoring this, but yeah. Okay. I know. I'm trying to think of what the Griffins call it here. I can't remember. Anyway, Sodi Kart, Factory Karts, Charles Leclerc, CS55, and Nitro Kart, all 5 of those with 1 win apiece.
Good stuff. All right, let's wrap things up. And David, normally you and I kind of talk about this right at the end of the day, but no red flags during the racing action itself. I always love to see that when there's no red flags. The racing was actually, I'm going to say, fair and clean. You're going to get contact here and there, but rough racing, or overly aggressive racing wasn't a topic that we talked about on the weekend.
Well, my third point, I guess we can talk into the no red flags. Slower starts. Yeah. And the green flag was closer to turn 1. The officials really were working on making sure those starts were good, and they did a great job. They had a race director go and talk to the front row before every race. At least on Saturday, they were doing that. So I think that helped keep things a little bit cleaner. Again, with Newcastle, by the time you get to turn 5, that's when you really start racing. You're just kind of spooling everything up.
Surviving.
And then when you get to, surviving, spooling and surviving through the first 5 corners. But yeah, overall, we did have, I think maybe 1 or 2 wrecks, but nothing too serious or damaging. And then overall, I think it was great racing. Again, I think adding the shark fin definitely helps in terms of breaking up maybe a little bit of the draft pack. But again, we saw great finishes as we had multiple 3-wide finishes, which I guess everybody's out on their own. Nobody wants to work with one another because it's very rare to see 3-wide at the finish line.
Yeah, all told, good stuff. No red flags, multiple 3-wide finishes, clean starts, late green flags for that start box further down the straightaway. Good stuff all around. David, last but not least, you've got a little line in here. What is on deck for the 18th season of the SCUSA Pro Tour? What are you thinking?
Well, we have dates. We don't know where we're going. We got to assume Newcastle is going to be back. Yeah. Are we going to return back to MCC? Where are the Winter Nationals going to be? I don't know if we're going to go back to Tucson or if they're going to try and keep a West Coast event going for the Winter Nationals. But so really it's everything's kind of up in the air for the 18th season right now. Not sure.
Agreed. And we talked about KA 100 Master. If we've seen the last of that category on the Pro Tour, I would expect very likely. So let's wrap things up here with the EKN Trackside Live race calendar today, presented by Velocity Racing. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is Superkarts. Velocity Racing is the USA distribution and official race team for the Sodi brand. The French manufacturer Superkarts is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. Visit velocityracing.com to learn more about the Superkarts chassis or call 407-270-3042 to become part of the Velocity Racing Network today. Superkarts, the world leader in the karting industry. Well, I had some back-to-back races. David's in the middle of one of those runs right now. In fact, I'm back-to-back as well. You're this weekend. I finally get a weekend off. But David, back to Newcastle Motorsports Park for you. The RMC Trophy Final this coming weekend, July 31st to August 2nd.
Yeah, the fifth edition of the event, going back to 2021. The question will be, can anybody beat Oliver Hodgson in Senior Max? He's got 4 straight wins in the category at this event. Phenomenal record. He's coming off a win at the SCUSA Pro Tour here on the last round. It's going to be tough to beat old Holly.
No doubt about it. Right after that, David will be home and then right back down once again to the USPKS event. David back rolling again at Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, the Ohio Grand Prix. USPKS, August 7th to 9th.
Yeah, third round of the championship. So we'll get into the second half of the title chases there, and going back to MCC for at least it will be my second time there on the year, after having been there in June for the Superkarts USA Pro Tour. They've had a busy year because they'll be hosting this weekend the Cup Karts North America Summer Nationals. Stars was just there a couple weeks ago, so MCC getting all the programs at their Batavia, Ohio facility.
Yeah, the Bayless have definitely got that track, the Motorsports Country Club, locked down into one of the primary facilities here in American karting. Folks, that wraps up our coverage, our EKN trackside coverage of this year's Superkarts USA Pro Tour. We were, of course, trackside in Tucson for the Winter Nationals, MCC for the Spring Nationals. Back this past weekend for the Summer Nationals at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Great year. Congratulations to all the champions. David, final thoughts before we wrap up this one?
Great Superkarts USA Pro Tour season. Lots of interesting stories. And crazy to be 17 years done.
I know, no doubt, right? SCUSA now, of course, looking at their Pro Kart Challenge events, but more importantly, look for registration to open here soon for the Superkarts USA Super Nationals, the 29th running of that event coming this November. Looking forward to being there for sure. David, I will be trackside as always for that one. I'll get a chance to announce my 29th edition of the race. Looking forward to that as well. There you go, folks. That wraps up this edition of the EKN Debrief. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.